right now? Okay. Now, Matt's terrible? Okay. Just, mm-hmm. Здравствуйте, добрый вечер, всем привет. Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Меня зовут Matt Thompson. Я атташе по вопросам культуры, прессы и образования в американском консульстве в США. В Екатеринбурге. I always do that. Nice to see everybody. I see a lot of hellos. Thanks for joining us. Sergey, Dmitry, Shaks, Yekaterina. Great to be with you tonight. We have a really fun little concert and discussion, so I hope you'll stay with us. First, I want to remind you, our Thursday Night Live streams happen every Thursday. Next week we have a great, interesting guest coming from Washington D.C. They'll talk about Broadway music and dance, so don't miss that. But tonight our main guests are two people I've gotten to know over the last 2 years. Wonderful people from the great city of Washington in the District of Columbia. And their names are Elijah Balbed and Isabelle de Leon. And I'm going to take you to them right now outside of Washington, D.C., where they're going to play you a song. But first, if you're listening, trivia question. So write the answer in the comments if you know. Who is the composer of the great jazz standard Satin Doll? Satin Doll, I think Elijah, I think every jazz musician probably knows that song, but don't give them the answer. Write it in the comments. But in the meantime, guess the name of this very famous song that they're about to sing. I'm going to change. Can you hear me now? Sorry. Go ahead.
Great. Пишите в комментариях имя композитора, который создал знаменитую Setting Doll, и пишите тоже в комментариях название композиции, которую сейчас сыграют.
All right. Very nice. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Most people, a lot of people guessed the name of it. They knew it was summertime. Excellent job. Welcome, Elijah and Isabelle. It's good to see you're healthy and enjoying the outdoors. Very nice. I want to go back. If anybody didn't know that the name, the person who wrote Satin Doll, one person got it right. It was Duke Ellington and Billy Strayhorn. Is that correct, Elijah?
That is correct.
Stand a little closer to the mic so we can make sure we hear you. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So, just so people know, Elijah and Isabelle are accomplished musicians living in a fantastic city for jazz or music in general. And you both of you have been playing for quite a long time. But I want to ask you a little bit about your beginnings in music. And Elijah, I remember you have a funny story about your first saxophone. Nope, we can't hear you. Sorry. I think something happened. Something went off. Okay, well, they fixed that. So Elijah and Isabelle came to Russia in 2019 and also in 2018. And they traveled to several cities, which I'll let them tell. But they were in Yekaterinburg last October. There, I think it's now working.
Check, check.
There we go. There we go. Excellent. All right.
All right.
This happens when it's live, right? You have to adjust. So, your first saxophone. Tell us about that story.
Yes, well, I started playing saxophone at the age of 11 years old, but I didn't take it too seriously at first. My mom would have to force me to practice.
Начал играть на саксофоне, когда было 11 лет, но несерьезно к этому относился, и маме приходилось меня заставлять.
And one early morning, we both walked to the bus stop where I would take a bus to go to school. I got on the bus, and she went back home, but neither of us had my saxophone.
А однажды утром мы пошли вместе к школьному автобусу, на котором я ехал в школу. Я забрался в школьный автобус, она вернулась домой, но ни у нее, ни у меня саксофона не оказалось.
So for the next 3 weeks in band class, I had to sit and watch everybody else play while I didn't have another instrument to play.
А поскольку у меня другого инструмента не было, то следующие 3 недели я сидел у нас в ансамбле и ничего не делал.
But one morning, I arrived to the same bus stop, and a homeless man walked up to my mother and I with my saxophone and said, "I believe this belongs to you."
А однажды утром пришел я на ту же самую автобусную остановку, и ко мне подошел бездомный с моим саксофоном и отдал его маме со словами: «Вот же ваш саксофон».
And that day, I gained a new appreciation for my instrument, and the way my mother tells the story is she never had to tell me to practice again.
И с тех пор я всегда очень ответственно относился к своему инструменту, и мама говорит, что с того дня никогда не заставляла меня больше играть на саксофоне.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. And you haven't put it down since then, obviously. It's very clear.
I haven't, no.
Now, Isabelle, I remember you talking a little bit about your dad. I think he's involved in music, and and tell us a little bit about being a female drummer. I know it's a cliche question, but there are not as many women who get into percussion. And tell us about how you started.
So I started music when I was very young. Actually, piano when I was 4 years old, and then drums when I was 7 years old.
Я начала музыкой заниматься очень рано. В 4 года начала играть на пианино и в 7 лет на ударных.
My dad taught me and my sisters and my brother how to play music. There's 4 of us, and since we were very young, he taught us how to play together, and we would play in church every weekend.
Нас отец научил сестру, брата, нас всего 4, и вот мы все вчетвером, совсем маленькие, играли каждое воскресенье в церкви, в нашей своей группе.
And then he would also teach us how to play rock and pop cover music that we would perform at local festivals and at different bars, even when we were very young.
А затем он нас учил играть каверы на различные рок- и поп-произведения, и мы играли на местных фестивалях и даже в барах, хотя были очень маленькие.
I knew that being a female drummer when I was young was very rare because of one of my favorite childhood movies called Selena.
Я знаю, что это очень редкий случай, когда ударник, женщина, был такой фильм «Салина».
But both of my parents never made me or my sisters feel that we couldn't do anything because we were girls.
Но никогда мои родители ни мне, ни моей сестре ничего такого не говорили, как будто мы, девочки, чего-то не можем. Они всегда нас поддерживали.
In fact, this is the house where I grew up in. I'm at my parents' house currently, and as you can see, there's a lot of really. We actually have a lot of land and a lot of landscape. And when we were young, they would also make us do yard work.
И это вот тот самый дом, где я выросла, это дом моих родителей. Здесь много земли, и когда мы были маленькие, нам приходилось очень много работать в саду.
And
Right.
so while, there were people who didn't, while there were people who marveled at the fact that, I was a girl drummer, my parents were very supportive in encouraging us and supporting us.
Хотя действительно многие удивлялись, как это женщина играет на ударных инструментах, но родители всегда поддерживали.
As parents should. That's what they should do, right?
Duh.
Excellent. So we have a good crowd here. We've had a couple questions, but I'm going to save them a little bit later. So let's play a song written by Isabelle. It's called Gemini. And let's hear it. Very nice. I'm clapping for.
Siba.
I'm clapping on behalf of everybody. You got a lot of praise during that song. Thank you so much.
Siba.
Very good.
From Washington, D.C.
All right. That's a good transition. Get somebody on the screen from I can't. Oh, Anna from Corifei School said, "Welcome." One more time. That was the school
Hi, Anna.
you went to and talked to the students. So I want us to tell us a little bit about your trips in Russia, and I'll start with Elijah. Tell us your most memorable moment performing in Russia. You've been here twice, 2017, 2019. I think you've been to Yekaterinburg, Moscow. Where you went in the south? You've been to
Astrakhan.
Orenburg.
Yeah, Astrakhan, Orenburg, and a few other places.
Vologda.
Vologda. And St. Petersburg.
Wow.
Kaliningrad.
And Kaliningrad.
And Kaliningrad, wow. So tell us, what's your most memorable performance in Russia?
I have a couple quick memories. The first one and most notable to me was actually our very first trip in Russia. The first city we went to was Orenburg. And I think just having never been to Russia before was already overwhelming. But we received just an incredible response from the audience that night, which ended in an hour-long of taking pictures and signing autographs and just meeting the good people of Orenburg. And it was a beautiful experience, and they still ask about us to this day.
Первый город в России, который мы посетили, был Оренбург, и это было само по себе потрясающее переживание, просто оказаться в России, и уже там мы получили потрясающий прием от публики. Целый час уже после концерта фотографировались, подписывали, отвечали на вопросы, и до сих пор с этими замечательными людьми общаемся.
And another great memory was when we arrived to Yekaterinburg, and we worked with the students at, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Corfee School, where we arrived and there were like 30 or 40 students all playing the saxophone. And as a saxophonist, you can imagine I was really excited to find out we were working with all young saxophonists ranging from very little ones to not so little.
А второе воспоминание, это когда мы приехали в Екатеринбург, по-моему, в школу Корифей, и там было 30-40 учеников в классе, и они все играли на саксофоне. Представляете, как саксофонисту, как мне это ощущалось, когда все они, маленькие, и не очень маленькие, все играли на саксофоне.
I teach often here in Washington, D.C., but I've never worked with such a large group of saxophonists before.
Я здесь учу, в Вашингтоне, округ Колумбия, но никогда с такой большой группой не работал.
So before I have a question for you, Isabelle, but can you change the angle of the camera so we can see a little bit of the yard, because you mentioned it earlier and someone asked.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, just to give it a look. So I will tell people, tell the audience here, this is not what Washington, D.C. looks like. This is outside of Washington. In Maryland, but if you just get a few miles outside the city, it's quite lovely. It's very green, open, and a lot of suburbs and pretty landscapes.
Это не Вашингтон, это пригороды, скорее, Вашингтона, штат Мэриленд. И если выехать из Вашингтона, то вот в окрестностях так все зелено и красиво.
Okay, so Isabelle, let's move back to you. Tell us what surprised you most about Russia and the people that you met during your trips there. What I'm sure you had thoughts in your mind about what Russia is, but what was it really like when you got here?
So obviously going to a new country, you never know what to expect. And I think, I think all of us have preconceived notions and stereotypes of what certain countries are like. And I don't want to give away too much of what my maybe first impressions were or going into it. Like I wasn't sure what to expect really.
Но вообще всегда, когда в новую страну едешь, никогда не знаешь, что там произойдет, что там случится. И, конечно, у нас были определенные стереотипы, но я даже не могу сказать вам сейчас, что я думала до того, как поехать в Россию.
but I was so surprised, but also so grateful for how accepting and open and friendly the Russian people have been in meeting us and also in coming to listen to us.
И для меня было сюрпризом, и, конечно, я с благодарностью вспоминаю, что люди так нас принимали замечательно, открыто, дружелюбно и слушали нас очень хорошо.
Oftentimes here in America, if people don't know your band or your music, they won't really come to a show. But in Russia, we were so surprised at how many people turned up to come see us perform and not knowing who we were.
Зачастую в США, если люди не знают какую-то группу, то на ее концерты и не ходят, а в России нас просто поразило, как много людей, кто про нас никогда не слышал, и все равно пришли нас послушать.
And one thing that sticks out in my mind is one night, Elijah and I, we were actually hanging out downtown, and we were talking to some local people, and they told us, you know, our government, the media, whatever, they try to make us seem like we're enemies, but really we're not, and these people had told us that they love American people, and that seemed to be a pretty prominent theme. Almost any city we went to, a lot of people were just very happy that we were there and grateful that we came to visit their city.
И вот что у меня особенно запоминается, выделяется в памяти, это мы с Элайджей ходили иногда, тусили в центре города. Из всех людей, кого мы встречали, все говорили, как они нас любят, как они замечательно к нам относятся. Иногда правительства говорят, мы будто как бы враги, но на самом деле везде, во всех городах люди нас очень хорошо принимали, были счастливы и благодарны.
Well, thanks. I agree with you. People are very friendly here, and but there's always everywhere you go around the world, people are people. So I think we should play another song. I think people want to hear it. So again, I'm going to throw out there, if anybody knows this song, write it in the comments. See, I will give you a hint, it is a famous song, but maybe they'll play it a little bit differently. Take it away.
Если кто узнает эту песню, пишите обязательно в комментариях. Я подскажу, это знаменитая композиция, но сыграют несколько по-другому.
We usually do.
Мы всегда так делаем.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Спасибо.
You got a lot of claps, loves, likes, hearts going fluttering all over the screen. So that's good.
Awesome.
Somebody just tuned in from Oroville, California, so maybe somebody knows.
Cali.
So a few people did get it. Evgenia guessed it. It is Caravan by Duke Ellington. Very famous song. Jazz standard, as they say. Thank you so much. I think people like that a lot.
Thank you. We like Duke Ellington because he's also from Washington, D.C.
That's right. And he has
Нам нравится Дюк Эллингтон, потому что он тоже из Вашингтона.
There's the Duke Ellington School of Music, right? It's very famous.
Yeah, that's probably our biggest performing arts school here, Duke Ellington School for the Arts.
Здесь есть школа Дюка Эллингтона, крупнейшая школа для таких искусств.
So before we turn to a special guest who's going to play, I wanted to ask Elijah you to comment just quickly on go-go music because you specialize in this style of music, and maybe talk about the legacy of Chuck Brown because I know the anniversary of his passing was just recent, if I remember reading about that. So maybe just tell people what is go-go music compared to, I don't know, jazz or jazz, just a big band, so we have a frame of reference.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. If you go to certain parts of the world, certain countries or certain cultures, you'll find a style of music that correlates with that culture. Like in Brazil, they have bossa nova and samba music. If you go to Jamaica, they have reggae music. One thing that's unique about Washington, D.C., even amongst the United States, is we're one of the only cities that has our own style of music, and it's called go-go.
Замечательный вопрос про стиль гога. Во многих странах, во многих культурах есть соответствующие вещи. Например, в Бразилии есть боссанова, самбо, на Ямайке есть регги. И мы гордимся тем, что в Вашингтоне, округ Колумбия, есть свой собственный стиль музыки, и это стиль гога.
Speak a little louder, Elijah. A little closer to the mic.
Okay.
There we go.
I grew up in and around the Washington area, and go-go was always around me, but I mostly played jazz when I was a child. When I was in college, university, at Howard University, I began performing with the godfather of go-go, one of the guys who invented the style, Chuck Brown.
Я вырос здесь, около Вашингтона, округ Колумбия, и в детстве играл джаз, но потом, когда учился в университете, то мне повезло играть вместе с крестным отцом стиля гого, Чаком Брауном.
Chuck Brown passed away in 2012, so I performed with him for about a year before he died. And what go-go is a way to keep people dancing in between songs. So they would create this very percussive, funky beat to connect the songs together so people would not leave the dance floor. And we're going to demonstrate a quick go-go beat in a second.
Okay, please do.
Чак Браун умер в 2012 году, я с ним играл около года, и стиль гога это сделан так, чтобы люди танцевали между песнями, то есть постоянно звучит ритм между песнями, чтобы люди не покидали танцплощадку, и сейчас мы продемонстрируем.
So as a quick demonstration, normally a go-go band is at least 8 members, but we're just going to do a small percussion demonstration. we'll start with a regular beat and then go into a go-go beat. So listen to see if you hear a difference.
Сейчас мы быстренько продемонстрируем, обычно в стиле гога до 8 музыкантов, но мы только так быстро покажем. И сначала обычный ритм, а потом в стиле гога. И посмотрите, может, вы заметите разницу.
So as you can hear, the go-go beat has a bit of a swing to it.
Как слышите, ритм гога отличается, у него есть такой свинг.
I think that to have you demonstrate that makes it much clearer what the sound is like, and it's really great.
Yeah, lots of percussion and usually lots of vocals as well.
Обычно много перкуссии и много еще и вокализирования, пения.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Well, now we have some special guests, and I'm going to change the camera here. They're going to get the spotlight, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Yulia, вы готовы?
Добрый вечер.
Добрый вечер. Вы, как было мастер-класс с Элайджем в прошлом году, да?
Да.
Расскажите нам, что произошло и кто сейчас играет.
Сейчас перед вами только моя семья, это мои 3 детей, Варвара, Северин и Арина. Вот такая история на дистанции, потому что со всеми остальными учениками приходится заниматься дистанционно. А наш собственный семейный ансамбль сейчас дома в полном составе.
Хорошо. Ну, пожалуйста, мы
хотели бы исполнить композицию
Here is our family band.
Go ahead, Dima.
Над радугой, потому что для нас это символ, в том числе Америки, американского джаза, красивой музыки и своеобразного телемоста, вот связи музыки и людей.
Go ahead, Dima.
Here is my family band, Varvara, Severin, and Arina, and we are going to perform Over the Rainbow. It's kind of a symbol for us. It symbolizes America, and it's a symbol of a bridge between our 2 countries.
Давай поиграем. Sp- Wonderful, thank you. Спасибо большое, огромное спасибо.
Bravo.
And Elijah, were you guys able to see that?
Yes, it was wonderful.
Yes.
I'm going to move it back over to you guys. Wonderful. Спасибо большое, Yulia. Elijah, just to give some context, you recall those are the kids you worked with, and that was a pretty cool experience I remember hearing about.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I have a lot of pictures and videos from that day.
У меня сохранилось много видео и фотографий с тех времен, когда мы вместе работали.
So I want to remind, this is now time, people listening and watching right now, if you have questions, write them in the commentary and we'll immediately answer them. But I want to ask Isabelle a question. This is a question that not only affects Americans, but everywhere, musicians all around the world. How are you surviving during this pandemic? How do you make it as a musician? And earlier someone asked, saying, do you miss performing? What's difficult now? So tell us how you make it work.
Oh yes, I miss performing so much. You know, part of why I wanted to be a musician was so I could travel and see the world.
Я очень скучаю по живым концертам, и именно поэтому и хотела стать музыкантом, чтобы путешествовать по всему миру.
But in a way, the quarantine has probably brought the most consistency in my life as far as my schedule, and also the most creative productivity.
Но, с другой стороны, карантин привнес размеренность в мою жизнь и увеличил мою творческую производительность.
So instead of performing and gigging like I normally would, instead I've been home working on some other skills to enhance my music abilities. So one is working on music production. Two has been working on a lot more video and recording content for broadcast and social media. And then third is also, becoming more creative with how we perform, like doing live streams like this.
И вместо того, чтобы поехать на какой-то гиг или на какой-то концерт, вместо этого я сейчас отрабатываю другие навыки. Например, первое – продюсирование, второе – это видеозапись и прочие технические штуки. И третье – это новые творческие вещи, как, например, сейчас записываем стримы.
Well, I know it's a really hard time.
And one of the positives...
Go ahead.
The last thing I was going to add is one of the positives has been because all of the musicians are at home, a lot of people are more open to collaborating. So I've been able to work on digital collaborations with artists who might have otherwise been too busy.
И еще один положительный аспект – это то, что сейчас все музыканты сидят по домам, и многие люди стали открыты для совместной работы. И мы вот так в цифровой вселенной сейчас сотрудничаем со многими людьми, с кем не удавалось в реальном мире.
Sorry, that was a Zoom moment where there was a pause, and I think it's my turn to talk, but then I can't. Maybe it's your turn. It's always.
It's okay. It happens.
This is the life we live in now.
Of course.
So, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, the last thing I was going to say is actually both Elijah and I teach virtual lessons now, as all music instructors have had to do. So, putting it out there, if you're interested in lessons, you can message us.
Excellent.
И последнее, что я хотела сказать, это то, что Элайджа и я учим сейчас, преподаем музыку онлайн, так что можете записаться к нам на урок, пошлите нам сообщение.
So, don't have any questions right now. We have a lot of comments, people saying hello, thank you for the program, but let's go and play one of Elijah's songs. Is he there? Did he disappeared into the yard?
He's fixing his iPad, but here he is.
Okay. And we have a message from Angelica saying, "Thank you, Elijah and Isabelle. Come to ECAT again." We hope.
We'd love to.
We hope we can live in a world where that's possible again soon. I hope so.
Definitely.
All right, so let's play a song you wrote called "Checking In." And when did you write this? How long ago?
This was on my very first CD, so I actually wrote it in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, so 10 years ago. And a little quick funny story about it is I had 7 songs ready for the CD, but I felt like it needed one more just kind of as a closer or a cap to finish the project. And the night before, I was searching for something the night before the recording session, and this song came to mind.
Элайджа сейчас исполнит свою песню «Checking In». Она была на самом первом диске, который он выпустил в 2010 году, 10 лет назад. И интересная история, что 7 песен было готово уже для диска, но хотелось еще одну заключительную, завершающую. И только в вечер до записи, буквально за один день до записи, удалось написать вот эту песню.
I'm going to give the artificial applause, but you got lots of applause going on right now. I don't know if you can hear that. Excellent.
It sounds great.
Thank you so much. I heard a lot of different, some references to some songs in there, a few. I don't know if everybody in the audience, I think a few people did. Oh yeah, Sergey here said, I feel good, so we got the James Brown.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think we're about out of time. We're almost at an hour. It's been a wonderful just conversation with you. It's good to see you both. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us and your wonderful humanness. That's always a great thing to have during these difficult times. So.
Thank you, Matt. And I have to say, I've had my mixed feelings about technology and social media over the years, but finding myself especially grateful for it right now that we can still connect, we can still communicate, and we can still perform for all our friends and fans across the world.
У меня вообще-то на самом деле смешанные чувства по поводу всяких этих новых технологий и социальных сетей, но вот сейчас я очень благодарен этим соцсетям за то, что мы можем так общаться со своими друзьями по всему миру.
I agree. I think anytime we start hearing all the terrible things about social media and people, there's moments like these and programs like this that are really positive, but that's mostly to you. I think we have a record for comments tonight. Well, 130 some comments. So,
thank you.
Yes, thank you for our audience here who tuned in. We hope you'll come back for more next week. We have, I'll make sure I get the names right. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. We'll have a dancer and singer from Washington, and they work for E Company, which is a great dance and theatrical organization in Washington, D.C., and they're going to talk and perform, talk about Broadway music. And I think we have a lot of Broadway fans out there in Russia as well. Obviously, everybody's sad in the U.S. because it's not running right now. So Anna Michaela Gaston and Philip Boroydin are going to join us next Thursday. So, следующий четверг в 8 часов, то же самое время. Did I say that right, Dima? He's giving me the thumbs up. I did. Okay. So I'm going to...
Shout out to Dimitri.
Yes, I think we need to say thank you to Mr. Pambidash, as usual. Flawless work. So one last thing, you guys can wave goodbye, and then I'll end this broadcast, but thanks again for joining us. Are you guys there? Almost? You're coming. Okay, there you are.
Yep.
Elijah, move in a little bit. There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Be safe. And
We hope to see you all soon. Thanks so much.
thank you. And to everyone
Тоже
else,
скучаем по
and to everyone else, хорошего вечера. Увидимся на следующей неделе. Bye-bye.